sad news in Toronto. The Maple Leafs are experiencing one of those moments where performance, context, and symbolism all come together at the same point. Craig Berube's decision to move William Nylander from the top six to the third line reignites an old debate within Leafs Nation. To what extent can lineup adjustments really spark an individual reaction? Amid a rare 4-game point drought, the move gains significance not only because it involves one of the team's key players, but also because it comes at a time when the team is trying to rebuild its offensive identity. It's a story that mixes expectation, pressure, and the search for answers in a season that still demands stability. Here at Boys in Blue News, the idea is to bring this situation with clarity and depth without losing the conversational tone with the blue and white fan base. In today's episode, we'll take a look at the context of this change, the behind-the-scenes impact, what this means to the group, and why this decision might say a lot about the Leafs' current situation. If you're new here, feel free to join our community. It helps us keep the content coming consistently and well-produced. The move made by Craig Berube this week grabbed attention precisely because it broke a pattern that had been constant since his arrival as head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the summer of 2024. For the first time, William Nylander, the team leader in points and one of the most stable figures in the attack, is set to start a game on the third line. The change comes just before the game against the San Jose Sharks, during a rare offensive drought for the winger, who has gone 4 games without scoring a point. This adjustment also arises due to external circumstances. Bobby McMahon is serving a suspension, which opened up space for rearrangements. Still, Berube did not hide the fact that the decision has a clear technical component. He directly mentioned the drop in performance of the unit with John Tavares and Easton Cowan, which have been functioning as a team's second line. This statement is important because it acknowledges that the change is not merely circumstantial, but strategic, part of an attempt to reposition Nylander, give him a different game perspective, and perhaps an environment where he can rediscover his rhythm. Although the recent drought is unusual, it's not entirely unprecedented. The last time Nylander went 4 games without a point was in the 2025 playoffs, and during the regular season. It hadn't happened since early January. Even so, the impact is felt because the Leafs are still seeking consistency in their attack, especially amid a power play that has dropped to 13.6% after the victory over Tampa Bay. In a system where the stars need to step up, any fluctuation gains greater significance. Berube's statement after practice was direct and reflected the style he's instilled since his arrival. Blunt accountability without dramatization. For him, the key point is engagement. He needs to get more involved, said the coach, emphasizing that effort and assertiveness are usually the quickest way out of such a phase. It wasn't an attack on the player, but a public reminder of responsibility, something the coaching staff sees as a healthy part of the competitive process. Internally, the reading is that Nylander understood the message. Even though he has recently dealt with an illness and a lower body injury that sidelined him for a few games, he was clear in stating that none of this justifies his drop in performance. His self-criticism was lucid, acknowledging that sometimes he hesitates between passing and shooting, and admitting he needs more hunger to attack the net. This attitude tends to resonate well with the group, which has always responded better when leadership shows transparency and a willingness to adjust their own game. In the media, the move was seen less as punishment and more as an attempt to reorganize the offense at a critical moment of the season. The fans, on the other hand, are divided. Some believe that changes are necessary. Others fear that moving Nylander could have a negative impact on someone who usually delivers consistency. But there's consensus on one point. The Leafs need their number 88 at his best, and any adjustment that points in that direction is met with cautious optimism. Berube's decision goes beyond a momentary line change. It reveals a clear philosophy. Key players are not immune to adjustments when the team needs to regain competitiveness. For the coach, temporarily moving Nylander down could help him face different matchups, perhaps with less direct offensive pressure, which could create more space for him to regain in production. At the same time, this directly affects the team's offensive dynamics. Nylander's departure from Tavares' side creates a ripple effect in the playmaking and ice time distribution. With a power play that isn't clicking and a 5-on-5 attack that is inconsistent, Berube is looking for new combinations to bring back the fluidity the team showed at the start of the season. If the change works, it reinforces the idea that the coach knows how to adjust the group at the right times. If it doesn't, it opens up space for broader discussions about a lack of offensive depth and the reliance on the stars. Either way, the move becomes an important gauge for measuring the team's trust in Berube's more direct and rigid approach. In the end, this is also a story about expectations. Nylander has become one of the offensive cornerstones of the Leafs in recent years, and it's natural that any fluctuation will have an immediate impact, both on the team and the fans. Watching him drop to the third line, the fan feels a mix of concern and hope. Concern for the moment, hope that the strategic push will reignite the game everyone knows he has. And perhaps that's where the story resonates most with those who follow the boys in blue closely. Rooting for the Leafs is about living through constant highs and lows, always believing that the next answer could come from a small detail. So here's the question. Do you believe that Berube's change will be the turning point for Nylander? Today's episode showed how a single decision can reveal a lot about the moment of a team. The move involving William Nylander is not just a tactical adjustment. It exposes a challenge the Leafs face in regaining offensive consistency while reaffirming Craig Berube's direct style. In long seasons, it's these small inflection points that ultimately define rhythm and confidence. Leafs Nation feels this. They recognize there's accountability, an attempt at change, and a player willing to face his own moment honestly. And maybe that's why this story resonates so deeply. The fan base knows Nylander's talent, knows the impact he can make when he's at his peak. Watching the team shift pieces to rediscover their game reinforces the sense that there is still much ahead. Here at Boys in Blue News, we continue to follow every detail of this journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, consider joining our community to stay updated with everything in a clear, deep, and always connected way to the Leafs fan sentiment. See you next time.